10's Late News with Sandra Sully.
Tonight, the PM lends a nation a shoulder to cry on his top-level tour of Europe.
I extend my sympathy, obviously, to the German team as the Prime Minister of a nation who didn't quite qualify.
The helmet that lets our soldiers see around corners. And Big Brother's sensational eviction finale brings down the house. But first tonight, the Prime Minister is in Germany doing top-level wheeling and dealing in the tricky area of trade. But before getting down to business, he lent a nation a shoulder to cry on.
John Howard flew into the German financial capital of Frankfurt this morning. But it was World Cup football, not Euro dollars, that was on everybody's mind. And from the incoming guest, commiserations for the host nation.
I extend my sympathy, obviously, to the German team as the Prime Minister of a nation who didn't quite qualify.
It's the first visit to Germany by an Australian Prime Minister in 8 years. Mr Howard sees it as an important opportunity to talk trade and keep relations growing.
Agriculture's a key issue, but it is a relationship that is broader than agriculture.
Later, Mr Howard will meet the powerful head of Europe's central bank. The euro, like our dollar, is strengthening, and the outlook for interest rates will be on the agenda.
The message I want to give is that Australia is a strong, expanding, very economically successful country, but remains profoundly unhappy about trade arrangements.
Tomorrow, Mr Howard goes to Berlin for meetings with the Chancellor, Gerhard Schröder. In Frankfurt, Paul Bongiorno, 10 News.
A snub to the paperless society tonight from Australian politicians. 10 years ago, our MPs spent on average under $5,000 a year on office stationery and newsletters. In the age of computers and emails, they must spend less, right? Wrong. MPs now spend on average $50,000 a year. That's a tenfold increase in a decade. Serial pest Peter Hoare is in jail tonight, accused of playing a major role in the Woomera breakout. It's claimed he helped detainees escape, then abandoned them in sub-zero temperatures.
Australia's serial pest in trouble again. This time Peter Hoare stands accused of being behind a mass breakout at the Woomera detention centre.
I didn't abandon them.
What did you do?
I didn't. We were going to get food.
Took a long time to get
They abandoned me. Everyone abandoned me. They left me in the desert with them.
We will allege that this person was involved in facilitating the escape and that subsequently travelled with a group of 14 detainees.
Hoare has gained notoriety for interrupting or invading a series of public and private events. They include the funerals of rock star Michael Hutchence and horse trainer Tommy Smith. His other targets have included the 1997 Melbourne Cup, a World Cup soccer qualifier, and model Sarah O'Hare. He's even stormed South Australia's Parliament. Police suspect that after the Woomera escape, Hoare camped with 14 of the escapees in scrub near Port Augusta, 200 kilometres south of Woomera. Later, he wandered off, leaving the group behind.
This male person, upon arriving in Port Augusta, had attempted to obtain accommodation, and he then hitchhiked on his way to Perth.
Hoare was arrested this morning on South Australia's west coast. 25 of the detainees who fled Woomera during Thursday's mass breakout have since been recaptured. 20 of them today faced court in Port Augusta. The 20 detainees, all men, faced court only briefly. They'll remain in custody and be taken to Adelaide, where they'll face court again. Jeremy Pudney, 10 News.
A terrifying dog attack, a woman viciously mauled when trying to protect her 4-year-old granddaughter from the savage animal.
The attack was over in minutes, but the scars and memories could last a lifetime. Rita Bailey was playing with her granddaughter and pet dog in their backyard when a neighbour's dog jumped the back fence and began to savage the 55-year-old.
When I looked down, all I saw was his big teeth and just feeling him getting into my flesh.
Rather than run away in fright, 4-year-old Taylor was left frozen with fear.
Jumped on it, I was on her back.
Yeah?
Hurting her.
The frenzy continuing until the owners of the Japanese Akita pulled it from the grandmother and hauled it back over the fence, which they then reinforced. Ms Bailey says she had made repeated complaints over the past 2.5 years.
Well, it's been a time bomb. It was going to happen because they have been warned time and time again.
After having stitches for wounds along her arms and back, she'll require ongoing treatment. The RSPCA describes the breed as potentially dangerous and not suitable as a pet.
You know, it would have killed her, you know. You hear about it all the time, dogs killing people. Would have killed her, you know.
Police have yet to speak to the dog's owners over the matter, but have confirmed charges are pending under the Domestic and Nuisance Animals Act. After consulting the owner, rangers from the Melton Shire Council impounded the dog this afternoon.
It'll stay there until a determination is made, or until the owner, if he believes it should be put down, the dog can be put down.
Cameron Bowe, 10 News.
A shooting has left an 8-year-old boy in a serious condition. He was hit in the stomach at a block of flats in Sydney southwest. A teenager turned up at a police station tonight to help officers with their inquiries. Sydney's underworld Mead Time is under siege, an 8-week-long police inquiry uncovering a major organised crime ring. 200 officers launched a series of raids in Sydney's west, making 5 arrests and seizing guns, drugs, a driver's licence making machine and thousands of dollars in fake cash.
We're operating as a gang. They could be classed as significant purely because the amount of violent crime that we can attribute to them.
Police suspect the gang was also behind a spate of kidnappings and armed robberies, one targeting the Commonwealth Drug Laboratory, where cocaine, amphetamines and 1.5 kilos of heroin were stolen. Democrat defector Cheryl Curnow says her heart still belongs to Labor, despite attacking the party's culture in a tell-all book. Miss Curnow has launched her account of 4 tumultuous years.
Cheryl Curnow says it's time to tell her side of the story about her fairy tale marriage with the Labor Party and why it ended.
You embark on journeys in your life and you take the consequences. And I do, and I contributed to them, but I'm not the only person.
The former Democrats leader defected to Labor in 1997 and lost her seat in last year's election. She reveals the 4 years with Labor were painful but also rewarding.
What Cheryl found hard was the male culture of the party, and she's not Robinson Crusoe there.
Some of her criticism is levelled at former leader Kim Beazley.
Kim is a fundamentally decent man, but in the words of the 2 main men who got me to join the party, he didn't actually rise above the factional jealousies of the party to include me as much as I hoped he would have.
Ms Curnow says she's not bitter, but says she hoped that by writing the book it would heal her of the poison and viciousness she says she endured during her 4 years with Labor. Nor was she happy with her treatment by the media.
I know you're doing a job, but it's this kind of thing that makes people really get sick and tired of your intrusion into our lives.
Friend Tim Costello, who helped launch the book, says she was to the media a dream target.
My opinion is I like the lavender better, but it was a bit of fun and I don't care.
4 years ago, Ms Curnow was Australia's most marketable female politician. Today, she has no plans to re-enter the fray. Raquel Stevens, 10 News.
Violent protests have erupted outside Indonesia's parliament building. Hundreds clashed with riot police storming the front gates. Police fired water cannon in a bid to disperse the angry mob, the demonstrators venting their outrage at the government for rejecting an inquiry into the disappearance of $4.6 million from the State Food Agency in 1999. A parliamentary speaker has been on trial over the scandal. History is at hand for adventurer Steve Fawcett. All going well, he will land in Australia on Wednesday night and become the first person to circle the world solo in a hot air balloon.
As the glow of the South African sun farewelled the spirit of freedom, solo balloonist Steve Fawcett dared to hope he's about to ride into the record books.
Good morning, Steve. A beautiful morning.
It certainly is. It really is an encouraging morning, too.
Since liftoff from Western Australia 12 days ago, he's covered more than 26,000 kilometres. He's already broken his own solo distance record, catching jet stream after jet stream on his 6th round-the-world attempt.
It's like trying to position them on
on conveyor belts that are in the sky. You're just moving in from one, hoping he'll hop onto another one.
On the Indian Ocean home stretch, he's hitting more than 270 kilometres an hour.
It's a big ocean, and it depends on a very specific weather pattern to make it across.
He's forecast to cross the coast at Ceduna in South Australia on Wednesday morning. For safety reasons, he'll land hundreds of kilometres inland, possibly in northeastern South Australia.
He's got to probably wait until maybe dusk of that evening to land, because he doesn't really want to land in the heat of the day.
There's a very good opportunity that I'll complete this. But before I start feeling confident, I think I'll want to be turning the corner and crossing the finish line.
Nick Way, 10 News.
Stay with us here on 10. Still to come in tonight's late news, the threat of a national doctor strike, the helmet that lets Australian soldiers shoot around corners, and dream cars go under the hammer at an exotic Sydney auction.
Last quarter, 215,000.
You're watching 10's Late News. A surprise eviction finale in the Big Brother series tonight. The one tipped to win was farm boy Marty, but he was evicted tonight, leaving computer geek Peter Corbett in the house. There was a hush or rush of calls in his favour from his South Coast stamping ground in the New South Wales regional area. He gets $250,000 in cash. An unusual ban has landed an RSL club in hot water. It has shut its doors to a great-grandmother who takes her own sandwiches.
Ruby Dunlop has been a member of the Maroochy RSL for 15 years. She likes the poker machines, likes the raffles, but doesn't like the food. Her solution, bring your own.
I've taken a sandwich for the last 5-6 years. No trouble.
That is until recently, when the club banned the 88-year-old great-grandmother for breaking its rules, handing her a letter at the door. Her family is outraged.
Absolutely disgusted. I think it's terrible.
I think it was done very spiteful myself, and I think that it could have been handled a lot differently.
Mrs. Dunlop claims she was given permission to bring her own sandwiches, which sometimes contain seafood. But the club says it wouldn't do that because of the risk of food poisoning.
I never poisoned anybody and never poisoned myself with any of the sandwiches. I think they've done the dirty on me.
There are no laws which prohibit club patrons from bringing their own food, but the RSL says it's been more than reasonable.
The club, in all honesty, has really gone out of their way to satisfy this woman's needs. And I think, boiled down, at the end, it's just stubbornness.
The club says it won't reverse its decision about the sandwich, but will consider lifting the ban on Mrs. Dunlop if she abides by the rules. Kerry State, 10 News.
A medical crisis in Brisbane, half the doctors closing surgery doors and warning their strike could become nationwide. Hundreds of GPs shut up shop across the state to protest against alleged government inaction over spiralling medical indemnity premiums. The move had little impact on communities, hospital casualty departments coping with extra patients. Premier Peter Beattie has agreed to some of the doctors' demands, but negotiations are continuing. Patients now have open access to their medical records under new regulations in Victoria. From today, health service providers must, by law, hand over all records on request. Victoria's Health Services Commissioner says the Act gives patients a greater say in their treatment and it improves confidence in the health system. A sneak peek into the future of warfare today, a device that could save Australian lives on the front line. Scientists are working on a helmet that allows soldiers to fire around corners without coming under enemy fire.
A glimpse at how an Australian soldier could be fighting a decade from now.
He could basically stop behind the corner, behind cover, and just put his weapon around and basically view the situation.
And then fires, again without the risk of being seen. The soldier relies on the image coming from the sight on top of the gun. Defence Minister Robert Hill says the device is aimed at significantly reducing battlefield casualties.
Got it.
I'm not backing around.
amazing to think of the soldiers of the future. They won't even see the target.
The device is one of several overseas developments being tested at the Defence Science and Technology Organisation in Adelaide.
And essentially what we're trying to do is provide that glimpse into the future to say what are the technologies that the Army should invest in.
All our potential foes are investing so much money in the same type of concepts. The challenge is to keep one step ahead.
Project Wandara is also working on a remote-controlled robot that acts as a scout using cameras, sensors, GPS and digital compasses. And in another initiative, scientists are improving tactics for Australia's attack helicopters using state-of-the-art simulators. Matthew Smith, 10 News.
Stay with us here on 10. Next up, how your shares kicked off the week. A brilliant new plan to sell Australia to the world.
It's a very easy place to do business.
And in sports tonight, Brazil on top of the world again, thanks to Ronaldo's double. You're watching 10's Late News. In breaking news tonight, the inquiry into the Russia's Kursk submarine disaster has been wrapped up. Investigators blaming faulty fuel in a torpedo for the blast that sent the vessel to the bottom of the ocean. All 118 on board died in that disaster. The launch of a bold advertising campaign to get business tourists visiting Australia. New TV ads will be shown throughout Asia to a potential audience of 20 million viewers. The $1 million campaign promotes Australia as a safe professional destination for lucrative conventions.
It represents more than $2,000 million to the Australian economy.
While we already attract 500,000 business travellers, the Tourist Commission wants to change the perception of Australia as just a holiday destination.
We'd like to bring that number up to 1 million because these people actually spend more money in Australia, about double the amount that leisure tourists do.
A range of print advertisements will also target businesses in both Europe and the United States. Checking finance news now, the Australian share market was off to a strong start for the first day of the new financial year. The benchmark All Ordinaries Index gaining 12.5 points. The major banks were down today, Commonwealth shedding 82 cents, the NAB falling 40. Shareholders welcomed the new CEO to BHP, their stock climbing 28 cents. News Corporation surged 75, Telstra recorded a modest 10-cent gain. One Australian dollar is buying more than 56 American cents, while gold is trading at $311.80 US an ounce. And at ComSec tonight, it's Tom Petrovsky. Tom, some welcome news at last for Telstra investors.
Not a moment too soon either, Sandra. News today that the company would spend $1 billion to get controlling interest in the mobile operator CSL in Hong Kong was pretty positive news. Then additionally, we've got news tonight that the company is going to spend $187 million on boosting rural services, which will help their privatisation quest. So good news for Telstra today. It was up about 2%.
And a couple of big items ahead for us this week.
Yeah, that's right. Tomorrow will be a day that will most probably see a lot of discussion about interest rates. The Reserve Bank meets tomorrow, decides on Wednesday. And tonight, importantly, we'll be looking at manufacturing data in the US. At a time when investor confidence has suffered numerous blows, they'll be looking for economic data to revive their confidence in the markets.
Thanks for joining us, Tom Petrovsky at ComSec. The high bidders were out tonight for a chance to snap up some of Sydney's finest luxury cars. From Ferraris to Lamborghinis, all the big names were on show. The hum of their machines drowned out by the chant of the auctioneer, as bidding for some machines climbed well over $200,000. And for those out for a bargain, the bidding did not disappoint, the selection and prices meeting the expectations of the most discerning buyer. The news on the national weather is next, then at Sports Tonight with Bill Woods.
Thank you, Sandra. James Hird ready to play for the Bombers. We'll look at that. The silly season kicks off and the NRL will have all the latest news from Wimbledon too. And the bodyboarders putting their boards and their bodies on the line.
Checking out the national weather report now, and from today's satellite, it's showing a strong cold front that's pushing cloud and showers across southeastern WA. There's also a low cloud area and isolated showers across western Tasmania and southern Victoria. Clear skies over Queensland and New South Wales. From today's synoptic chart, that cold front should strengthen winds and spread showers across South Australia, Victoria and Tasmania. A high in the east should deliver another cold, frosty morning, while there should be a sunny day across Queensland and New South Wales. A high in the west should clear showers and ease winds along the west coast. So the forecast, mostly cloudy conditions in Cairns, fine for Brisbane tomorrow and Sydney. Canberra, some early frost, late showers for Melbourne, Hobart and Adelaide, rainy in Perth tomorrow, sunshine for Darwin and the Alice. And that's all from 10 News for now, this Monday, the 1st day of July. Sports Tonight is next with Bill Woods. I'm Sandra Sully from the team. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Tonight, Leighton playing a little Russian roulette. James Hird back for the Bombers. And silly season declared in the NRL.
Players leaving one club or another and all the drama that goes with it.
Hello, I'm Bill Woods. This is Sports Tonight, and what a way to start a week. Brazil goes nuts as Ronaldo sees double. The ice doctor who puts people in hospital. Plus, Biffle and Biffo, back-to-back in Milwaukee. First up, though, Essendon set for two big comebacks when it takes on the Bulldogs on Saturday night. Brad McEwen has the details.
Bill, James Hird has declared himself a certain starter, and Matthew Lloyd has taken a major step towards returning from finger surgery.
It was Matthew Lloyd's first real test on his injured finger. He surprised everyone by wearing a glove and promptly earned a new nickname.
Penguin! Penguin!
The Penguin had no trouble handling the footies, putting his hand up after completing the session.
I'm really pleased, and I get through Wednesday. Just prove to Sheeds and the guys, and hopefully I'll get through, yeah.
While Lloyd's hopeful of a return against the Bulldogs, skipper James Hird is certain. The headaches have eased, his helmet providing the protection surgeons demanded. The word from Hird is it'll be the skipper of old on Saturday night.
No, I won't be tentative. I don't think I'll be nervous at all. I think I'm looking forward to getting out there. I don't really know, but I'm sure I'll just go out there as normal and play the normal game.
Mark Mercuri will undergo groin surgery tomorrow and will be missing for at least the next 5 weeks. And another potential blow for the Bombers, with Dustin Fletcher booked on video evidence for striking Melbourne's Nathan Brown. The coach, however, is confident the team's now better equipped to cope with any new hardships.
So I think the team's probably learned to play without, possibly Hird and Lloyd a bit. And so we finally kick 18 goals, knowing full well they're coming back. So that put a bit of pressure on the boys, didn't it?
The other player booked on video evidence today was Collingwood's James Clement, who's been reported for striking Ben Robbins. So the Bombers look like they'll have their skipper on the weekend, but what about the Bulldogs? Will they have theirs? Chris Grant will have intensive physio on his crook ankle all week in a bid to get up for the game. Better news for Hawthorn's skipper, though. Shane Crawford's been cleared of any serious injury after this collision against St Kilda, and he should line up against Sydney.
He copped a big knock. I think he's just a bit winded and probably just playing for the crowd a bit.
Deja vu for the Tigers today. Like last week and the week before and the week before that, the players listened as coach Danny Frawley sought answers.
A lot of what's sitting there should stay in there, but we just talked about the prospect of playing the finals is pretty dismal, and we've just got to play with a bit more flair, and the shackles are off now.
The Tigers' 5th loss on the trot, ruling them out of the finals. Darren Gasper might return from injury for Friday night's match against Carlton, who, by the way, are favourites despite only having 1 win for the season. Matthew Knights will also be considered after playing in the Magoos on the weekend. Brisbane forward Jonathan Brown won't play against Melbourne on Sunday. He's been ruled out because of an ankle injury. And sad news today from Geelong. At just 24, Jason Snell has announced his retirement because of a shocking ankle injury suffered in round 3 last year. After having the ankle fused, he's been told he'll never be able to run again. On a lighter note, there's a bit of talk today that new Sydney coach Paul Roos is a little wet behind the ears. Now, that's not my opinion, that is fact, after the sprinklers came on during his media conference.
I mean, we're playing some good teams, and if we beat them...
That is Monday AFL. I'll be back later on with the Optus Sports Tonight Player of the Round competition.
Wimbledon, Leighton Hewitt. Will it be a successful combination again tonight? The world number one is in the last 16 for only the second time at the All England club and should find Russian Mikhail Yushny his toughest match yet.
Last year. No Nicholas Escudé, but still a fourth round to fear for Leighton Hewitt. Mikhail Yushny in a purple patch after stretching the Aussie to 3 sets in Holland a fortnight ago.
Good point from Yushny.
Hewitt surviving a stiff examination on his opening serve, then using his trademark pace to make early inroads on the Russians' delivery.
Well, a few players try that tactic with Hewitt this week.
A 3-love lead representing a confident start for the top seed, and he wasn't about to stop there. The Australian taking the first set 6-3 in 34 minutes. Arnaud Clément has been in the doldrums since his Australian Open final appearance last year, but there are signs he's ready to break back into the top 20.
Jeez. How agile was he there? He's like a little acrobat, isn't he?
Clément and fellow baseliner Nicolas Lepenti evenly matched on paper. At stake for both men, a first-ever quarter-final appearance at the Championships.
Good match between Clément and Lepenti, keeping an eye on that one. Hewitt, by contrast, is very close now to taking a 2-sets-to-love lead against Yushny. Wayne Arthurs is in a lot of trouble against Argentine David Nalbandian. He's 2 sets down. In the women's, Venus Williams into the quarterfinals after an easy win over Lisa Raymond. Elena Lukasheva also in straight sets. Brisbane coach Wayne Bennett is leading the call to keep the silly and the regular seasons apart. From today, players coming off contract are free to negotiate with rival clubs for their services next year. With all the league news, here's Steve Hart.
Yes, Bill, it is that time of year again when NRL clubs have got a little bit more on their mind than just winning football games. Hanging on to players and signing new ones is at the top of their list right now as well. And no club more affected than the Brisbane Broncos. They have 10 players on the market. And naturally, coach Wayne Bennett isn't happy about that.
We just come out of a great State of Origin series and all we're going to read about is players leaving one club or another. Like the system should be at the end of the football season. Simple as that. There's enough rules in the league to make us abide by everything else in the game. Why can't we just make a decision, say this is going to be the rules. You want to play in this comp, this is what you've got to play by. And if you don't want to play in the comp, well, good on you, go and play somewhere else.
Well, Wayne Bennett's not on his own. There are plenty of other NRL coaches who support Wayne Bennett's thoughts. Players are probably the only ones who disagree. It's in their interest to sign early and get their futures secured for next year. But NRL boss David Gallop says things could change next season.
Yeah, we flagged it a few months ago and the players gave us the indication that they're not keen to move the date. It's on the agenda for the collective bargaining agreement negotiation that we're currently in. We're very aware that the fans don't like the look of it, but we're working on it.
Well, South Sydney are one club who are expected to get the chequebook and pen ready to go straight away. Wednesday they've got a press conference and they may be naming Dragons pair Justin Smith and Willie Peters as 2 players on their way, along with the Roosters' Brian Fletcher and the Tigers' Ahmad Bajuri. And I believe they're also chasing Broncos' Chris Walker.
You know, I really think the last marquee signing South made was Phil Blake back in the 80s. And, and Chris Walker certainly like Phil Blake. He can turn a game at the drop of a hat, and he's a player we're looking for.
And on to another worrying issue in rugby league. The Dragons have been linked with a betting claim over a game they won against the Warriors in round 15. NRL boss David Gallop is looking into it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously gambling's not something we want around our game. So I've spoken to Peter Doust. He's told me that he's looking into it and he'll report back to me in the next couple of days.
Only 2 cases for the NRL judiciary this week. The Bulldogs' Hazem El Masri faces a week on the sidelines for a careless shot on Jason Moody, who didn't play again in that match, by the way. And Roosters forward Michael Crocker also faces a week for a careless high tackle on the Tigers' Ben Jeffries. And despite an on-field biting complaint from Ruben Wiki in the Penrith-Canberra match, no further action has been taken. Neither Wiki nor Commissioner Jim Hall wish to take the matter any further. And just finally, Newcastle centre Matthew Gidley will miss Friday night's game. He is in hospital right now after undergoing minor operation on his testicles. He has no serious damage, but not the way he'd like to be spending his 25th birthday, I'm sure. Bill.
Thank you, Steve Hart. This is Sports Tonight. We'll be celebrating with the new world champions of soccer after the break. Brazil makes it 5 of the best in Yokohama. But is that good news for the Socceroos?
I don't think many of the other confederations can justify asking for another spot.
And the doctor with a prescription for pain. Brazil is celebrating an unprecedented 5th win at soccer's World Cup. Last night's victory over Germany also completing a remarkable comeback for twice World Player of the Year, Ronaldo.
The last time Ronaldo lined up for a World Cup final, he turned in a match he'd rather forget. This time, instant danger for the Germans.
Here is Ronaldo.
It usually takes something special to get past German keeper Oliver Kahn. Ronaldo's teammate Kleberson beating the man, but not the woodwork.
Oh, against the bar.
While Kahn had his hands full, Brazilian custodian Marcos with the most telling save of the first half. His fingertips stung by Oliver Nerville. A close call for the South Americans. Kahn again thwarting Ronaldo on half-time.
No wonder they call him King Kahn.
But the most regal of keepers also proved human. Ronaldo breaking the deadlock in the 67th minute.
Kahn spelt it. Ronaldo! Oh, an Oliver Kahn mistake. And with Ronaldo around, you don't get a reprieve.
12 minutes later, there was little the German captain could have done.
2-0, Ronaldo's got it again. That is Brazil to a T.
Just 3 months back from a run of injuries that threatened his career, Ronaldo, the tournament's leading scorer with 8 goals. Kahn, the world's loneliest man, as the Brazilians gave thanks. A whole nation convinced Ronaldo was heaven sent.
Yep, Brazil has done a lot of celebrating over the years. Australian soccer, well, that's all about qualifying. Coach Frank Farina came back from the Cup with encouraging news about Australia's direct entry to the finals next time. Well, less than a week later, the lobbyists from Asian football might just bring that all undone. The Socceroos made a low-key departure today for the Oceania Nations Cup in New Zealand. The 18-man squad made up almost entirely of locally based players, Swiss-based Scott Chipperfield the exception. The Australians have qualified for just one World Cup, and that was in 1974.
So I don't think many of the other confederations can justify asking for another spot. Because I don't think a lot of their performances would warrant them getting another spot. And Oceania, I think we deserve it.
Well, here's one way. Soccer Australia is considering putting in a late bid to host next year's Confederations Cup with the hope of cashing in on the interest generated from the World Cup. FIFA has confirmed it will still consider Australia for the hosting, which would guarantee the Socceroos automatic entry into the most important global competition outside the World Cup. The move that disturbed Western Australian cricket is complete. Simon Kadich is in New South Wales to revive his career, which was affected by illness in Perth. Kadich took the chance to get to know his teammates at the Blues fitness test this afternoon.
Perth and Sydney are totally different wickets, but I see that as being the best way for me to develop as a cricketer and become a lot better.
Some of the world's best bodyboarders tackled waves up to 3 metres in the Human Shark Island Challenge. It's not hard to see why this break has the reputation as one of the fiercest on the East Coast, with several of the riders smashed, and we mean physically, not drinking. This event is the second on the Bodyboarding World Super Tour and has attracted not only Australia's finest, but those from Hawaii and Brazil. We're halfway through the Australian ice hockey season, and already Adelaide Avalanche are in good shape to win their 3rd title. They're second on the ladder, thanks to some help from a Canadian import who's not your regular Canadian import.
Jamie Lever cuts a menacing figure for the Adelaide Avalanche, but while it looks like he could put you in hospital, it's more likely he'd help you leave. Jamie is a doctor visiting Adelaide for 1 year to work as an orthopaedic surgeon at Queen Elizabeth.
Coming to Australia, I didn't think at all that I'd be playing any ice hockey. And when I arrived, I just sort of casually asked a colleague whether or not anyone skated or played hockey here, and they said, yeah, there actually is an arena.
After initially offering his medical services, Jamie soon caught the eye of the Avalanche's coach and ended up on the ice.
He's a big boy, and when you play a physical contact game, it's always good to have some big guys out there, and it was good. Jamie really has some good skills, and he's been a great asset.
And while he's more accustomed to patching people up, Dr. Lever's been known to inflict a few wounds of his own.
That's why I love it so much, yeah. I like to play a physical game, and really gets you into the game after getting a good body check or something like that.
The Burleigh defender finding it easy to combine his sport with his day job.
Well, as an orthopaedic surgeon, we are actually quite physical in the operating room from time to time with saws and hammers and chisels working on bone. So not too much of a stretch with a hockey stick.
With an average of 6 minutes in the penalty box per game, Jamie's become known as one of Adelaide's most intimidating players.
Before we move on to four-wheeled sports, Leighton Hewitt has won at the second set against Yushny at Wimbledon. That's 6-3, 6-3, so he's in good shape in the round of 16. Now, the Kart World Series follows this program. If you are waiting up to watch it, please just give us a couple of minutes, because there might be a few people who can't wait up any longer. We're about to give away the result.
Turn 1 at the Chicago Speedway would prove a problem right from the opening lap.
We've got a crash and a big one. Turn 1, it's Bracken Vassar.
The season trend of cars losing their rear left wheels continued. Christian Fittipaldi, the latest, coming to grief as he exited the pits. Scott Dixon embarrassed as well.
Meanwhile, we've lost another left rear. That's Scott Dixon's car. Can you believe it?
More turn 1 traumas at the restart.
Oh, Tracy, hang on to it. Kenny, they slide in. Both spun. Wow.
Incredibly, this is what happened when they tried again.
Further back in the pack. Dixon, we've had contact again. Jourdain and Bell.
Cristiano Damata's smooth and dominant drive produced a third straight victory. Brazil claiming the Quinella with Bruno Junqueira. The Brazilian flag reigning at another world sporting event. Franchitti was third. The NASCARs chased 250 laps of the Milwaukee Mile, Brian Webber among those not going the distance. His demise resulting in a chain reaction at the bottom of the bank. In other incidents, Curtis Davis also copping contact in a mid-track slide. Greg Biffle avoided the Bengals to claim his 7th career victory and a piece of history, becoming the first driver to win in back-to-back years at Milwaukee.
After the break, the sweet smell of success for Annika.
Oh yeah, hello.
A work of art from Matisse as he takes the Monet. And Hooly Dooly as Pooley coolly wins the Julie.
Happiness, more or less, it's just a changing me something in my liberty.
That means the Optus Sports Tonight Player of the Round competition. Now, every Monday, our expert commentator Robert Walls selects 3 standout performances from the weekend. And from round 13, here are Robert's selections. Cat skipper Ben Graham has had his fair share of critics this year. Well, on Saturday against the Tigers, he was tremendous. 14 touches, 7 big marks and 5 goals. Without question, his best game of the year.
Graham, he read it beautifully, Ben Graham. Cats need a goal, and Graham just makes sure of it.
Roberts broke a new ground tonight by selecting a player from a losing team, though Brent Harvey's game against the Magpies was all class. Harvey was amazing. He racked up 40 possessions and he kicked a couple of goals as well.
It's not a bad kick, it's a sensational goal.
And Nathan Thompson was the difference between winning and losing for the Hawks yesterday against the Saints. The 24-year-old pulled in 10 strong marks from full forward and he kicked 7 goals to keep the Saints at bay.
Make it hard for the Saints if he nailed this. Very straight.
So all you need to do is send an SMS message with your pick for the standout player, the number 0421 261 010, and then press A for Ben Graham, B for Brent Harvey or C for Nathan Thompson. If you're successful, you can win the weekly prize, which is a new active lifestyle Nokia 5210, thanks to Optus. The winner for round 12 was Ben Whitford from Kingswood in South Australia. Ben correctly picked Luke Darcy for his dominant performance against the Saints. And the good news is, even if you don't win, going to the major draw at the end of the season for a trip to Melbourne to the AFL Grand Final for you and 3 mates. Have a good night. Talk to you tomorrow. A work of art today from Matisse. That's American Len Matisse. Well, one of the great golfing comebacks in PGA Tour history. That's why he's won the St Jude Classic in Memphis. Now, Matisse started the day 7 shots back, but reeled off 5 birdies in the final 8 holes. The final round, 7 under 64 and the clubhouse lead. Notar Begay's chances of a lap of honour were ruined at 15.
That is motoring big time.
I believe that ball landed in a spectator's lap, actually.
Tour rookie Tim Petrovic needed this at the last to force a playoff, but it just drifted by. Matisse joining Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson as the only multiple winners on tour this year. Now for the older guys, Tom Watson at the US Senior Open in Maryland. The 5-time British Open champ roaring back from a 5-shot deficit to force a playoff with Don Pooley. It went to a 5th extra hole, Pooley holding his nerve to drain the biggest putt of his career.
And this time it's Don Pooley who wins the duel.
That putt ended a 15-year winless drought. Pooley the first qualifier to win the Senior Open. And you can see highlights of that thrilling finish to the US Seniors right here on 10 on Sunday, 11:30 p.m. Check your local guides for details. Now to the Irish Open. Soren Hansen chipped away and the rewards rolled in as he fired an impressive 3 under 68. Now Hansen had to eagle the 18th to make up a 4-way playoff, and he did. South African Darren Fickard also finished at 14 under. Earlier, he holed out with a brilliant chip on the 10th. Swede Nicholas Fast had a mixed afternoon. Despite making the playoff, his wayward drive a real headache for one fan. And for him too, Hansen hit a ball in the water on the first playoff hole, but he birdied the 4th to take his first European Tour win. On the LPGA Tour, Sweden's Annika Sorenstam cruised to a 3-shot win at the ShopRite Classic in the US. Sorenstam carded a bogey-free 5 under 66 in the final round, and that's back-to-back wins on the tour. It was also her 4th victory in 6 events. Kate Golden was lost on the treasure hunt. She finished in a tie for 2nd. After holding the lead, she crashed with bogeys on 4 of the last 5 holes. Helen Alfredson hit her mark, but the ball just wouldn't drop. Sorenstam will be one of the hot favourites when the US Women's Open starts this week. Kari Webb, of course, defending her title. You'll see the final 2 rounds right here on 10, 3 hours on Sunday and Monday morning. But as always, check your guides for details. We're back with what you might call a pseudo play of the day, because Australians are doing relatively well in the round of 16 at Wimbledon. Leighton Hewitt, 2 sets to love up against Yushny. He's 2-1 up in terms of games in set 3. Now, Wayne Arthurs was 2 sets to love down, but he came back and won the 3rd. More on that, of course, tomorrow night. That's it. I'm Bill Woods. Good night.
Extra planetary